Shelby County Mayor Lee Harris is among those who've been keeping a very close eye on the task force. And Mayor Harris, thanks for joining us again on 3 at 3. Always good to have you here.
Absolutely.
We are hearing about more arrest. We're hearing about changes taking place in Memphis. And a lot of people saying Memphis is about to become safer than ever. What are your thoughts on what you've seen this week and what's going on today?
Well, I certainly support a surge in federal investment in Memphis and Shelby County. I've always said that we support the FBI and the DEA coming to town. And in fact, we've been in a constant conversation about returning some of the investment that was lost to Memphis and Shelby County. So you remember we lost the TBI crime lab. Governor Lee moved that out of town. We lost our FBI field office. President Biden at the end of 2024 moved that elsewhere. And we've seen some cuts in some of our public safety funding. So I like the surge. I'd love to see more. The only question and discomfort that I have is associated with the National Guard. I mean, those are military personnel, and in my view, National Guard and military personnel should only be used against foreign adversaries or if there is a rebellion or insurrection. They shouldn't be used against American residents. I think that's anti-American, and I think it's most obviously against the Tennessee Constitution, which does not allow it.
You read my mind right there. I was wondering, when it comes to the legality of what we're about to see, especially once the National Guard arrive here, you still feel that's unconstitutional?
Oh, it's patently illegal. There's no doubt about it. The Tennessee Constitution does not allow the governor to send National Guard troops into Tennessee communities for law enforcement purposes. That's not within our Constitution, and he doesn't have the authority to do that at all. But I think he's trying to find some way to wiggle out of what the Tennessee Constitution says, and so he's trying to make the National Guard not guardsmen. So it's things like they can't perform arrests, they can't carry weapons, that they can only assist MPD and the FBI and real law enforcement agencies as they go about their tasks. And so what you'll be left with is probably some combination of photo opportunities, but they won't be able to operate in a law enforcement capacity. That is impossible, and the Tennessee Constitution forbids it.
Do you see this as being more about show than anything else when it comes to what's actually taking place in the city and in Shelby County now?
That's hard to say. I think that what we know is most likely to happen is if you do have a surge in resources, there probably is going to be some suppression, but probably most of the suppression is a suppression of activity. In other words, I'll be less likely to go out to a restaurant while the surge is occurring. You'll be less likely to. Certainly if you are Latino, you're not going anywhere because you've seen some of the track record in Washington, D.C., where 40% of the arrests were Hispanic individuals. And so if you're Latino, you're not going to church. I mean, the only thing you're going to do probably is school and work, and that's it, because you don't want to be calling it a dragnet.
So what does that say about an American city still being an American city?
It says we're on the brink of something disastrous, and that all of us have to speak up. This isn't about polling. This isn't about the promise of zero crime. This is about preserving American traditions for the next generation, and that's bigger than a lot of the things that we are casually debating. We're talking about who stands on which side or the other. At the same time as our American traditions, our most important qualities about this country are eroding under our feet. And so I think we need to wake up, because this will likely be some level of permanent occupation. When I mean permanent, I mean about a year or so, at least through 2026 when the election is.
That is a long time, though.
You'll see an occupation through 2026 most likely. And not just that, you'll see it in other cities. And so there's a bigger plot at play here, and we should just stop thinking about this as as a polling issue or a Democrat-Republican issue. This is just an American issue, and it is anti-American to use military forces against American residents.
But Mayor, was there enough pushback? Again, we know about what happened in Chicago and the state of Illinois being a blue city and a blue state. But was there enough pushback locally here to say, no, we don't want it, we don't need it?
Well, I think everybody's going to have to do what they can from where they sit to try to resist some of what we see coming out of the federal government today. I mean, we've just seen lots of things that are worrisome, and it is not enough any longer to resign your position, which we've seen some people resign their positions because they can't perform their position within their ethical standards. It's going to take some resistance at this point, because we're going down a very, very dark road when you have a federal government that's calling for military personnel to invade invade the cities and to be used against American residents. That is, we're just in a whole different place here. And I don't want to be the guy who paints this dark picture. I don't want to be the guy that's known to exaggerate. I don't think I'm that. But you can't see all these signs and act like this is normal.
I've heard some people debate saying, well, is this restoration or is this occupation? Which one do you see it as?
Well, it's clearly this is an occupation. I mean, the definition of occupation is to be occupied by a military force. I mean, so this is just it is just definitionally an occupation. I mean, we have the Tennessee Constitution that hopefully will provide some safeguards and keep the governor from going too far. And he's already said he's going to try to comply with the Constitution by, going into this gray area of what if you deploy guardsmen, but they don't have weapons, they don't do any arresting whatsoever, and they don't do any law enforcement activities. And he thinks that's, a gray area. But I think it's going to get somewhere we don't want to go, and I think it's a slippery slope. So I'm fearful of them on any level, but I do think he's trying to thread this needle and still somehow comply with the Constitution by making these people not real guardsmen.
Another issue I do want to ask you about, the county budget and the state comptroller, and the state comptroller essentially rejecting the budget. Where do we stand with that? I mean, when it comes to issues like MSCS, when it comes to funding Regional 1, when it comes to the jail, what's going on there, man?
Well, we've advised the comptroller, of course, and the public at large that we certainly don't have any need to borrow. Our finances are sufficient to cover all of our needs right now, plus our extraordinary projects, like the Regional 1 campus rebuild, which is going to be an amazing way to bring to life that connector region downtown, and the high schools, the new Cordova High School and the Fraser High School. So there were some things in our budget that were not turned in correctly, and we're going to make those corrections, and we're going to turn those corrections over to the comptroller's office.
So again, when it comes to funding, none of those issues that you talked about should be directly affected, especially this year going into next year?
Oh, absolutely. It does not affect us at all in terms of what we intend to do. And so I know there were some newspaper articles in the Daily Memphian that says that we would put in jeopardy some of our projects. That wasn't true. There was no sourcing for that statement. None of our projects are put in jeopardy by the letter. So that was just patently false.
One last thing here, when it comes to Regional 1 and building the brand new campus, where do we stand there? Because I know not everybody has been on board about the issue. What about bringing other stakeholders involved, especially talking with some of the other folks on the city council side, and what's going on there? What's the latest?
Well, we've spent 3 years talking about the Regional 1 campus rebuild. So we've done, town hall and tour and public information session after public information session for years. We formed a Regional 1 committee that met for over a year, and that committee was comprised of people across our entire community. So I'm talked out on the issue. I think at some point Memphis and Shelby County as a community, we've got to move forward. We can't leave our downtown blighted, at least the connected part of downtown. We can't leave it blighted. We've had too many buildings to not come online and that have been empty for a long time. Steric building, 100 North Main, Union Road never happened. I mean, on and on and on. And when the Lowe's Hotel didn't happen.
But to pay for this,
we got to do something.
But aren't we talking about $2 billion here, which could be one of the largest projects ever?
I can throw out $3 billion, $4 billion. We can all come up with numbers, but the project is about $1 billion, and we've got to have large monster projects to ignite something in our community.
Will we have to impose another wheel tax, you think, to help pay for it? Or
I don't know anything about that. I haven't been part of those discussions, but I think we are in a really good place. We've acquired the property. We have a cool team that we've put together, and so you're going to see more to come.
All right. Yeah. Mayor Lee Harris,